I'm Tori, the host here, and with my other host, Max. We're here to check it out tonight and kind of go over a recap of the last 3 weeks we've been through. I want to make sure that we're always hitting bullet points and revisiting things that we've already talked about, because all this stuff's good stuff, and so we want to keep it on the forefront of our brain to keep up going where we need to be going, right? The first bullet point that I got going for us tonight is kind of the whole point of this for us. It's regenerate a degenerate outlook on a healthy life in society. I feel like people aren't out there to actually help each other as much as they should be. I feel like friends aren't out there to actually look out for each other mentally, hold each other accountable in ways that they should be held, and things of that nature that actually like mean something to your friend, opposed to just trying to be the guy that's there in the good times and doesn't really have anything to do for you in the bad times.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like society's kind of breached off of that and been on top of that for a long time now, and we just need to get away from that narrative as a unit. This whole narrative is going to be based on people helping people is the second bullet. We can't always rely on going to a professional or talking to someone that has a bunch of experience, but we can always rely on the people around us for a conversation at least. It's up to us on our side of the street whether that conversation stays positive or negative. I want everyone to understand that we all go through things and that we all have different ceilings. Have I ever told you my concept with ceilings in your house and your side of the street?
No, you touched on it a little bit last week, but we didn't really go in depth with it, because I think we were talking about not everybody has to hit that rock bottom.
Well, and my concept is you have your own house. You have your own side of the street that comes with that house, right? And your ceilings in your house are as high as the levels of your situations that they've taken you to in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so you might have a ceiling in one room that's way higher than my ceiling in my room, because you've already experienced that, and you can re-experience that, and you'll go more comfortably through that because of your experiences already, but I haven't yet, so my bar on that's really low.
Okay.
But you open the door and you go to the next room, I might have a completely ceiling outlook versus yours.
Vaulted.
Yeah, because of the different struggles, the different positives, the different negatives, and everything that we go through in our life.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the whole concept is I got to keep my side of the street clean, I got to keep my house clean, and I got to regulate my ceilings.
Right. Because you can only control yourself.
100%. So the other side of the street doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
As long as my side of the street has been doing okay, that's what matters.
Right.
So that's what I talk about, ceilings and floors and sides of the streets. That's just how I view it in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally understand that.
Absolutely. The third bullet point we got on here, that the world isn't responsible for making us happy, but we can help the world be a happier place. Those were the 4 big bullet points that I had from episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole point of it was I just want people to be out there to help each other.
Yeah, and unfortunately that's not how the world is nowadays, man. It's everybody really is just kind of looking out for themselves, but kind of going back to keeping your side of the street clean. Mm-hmm. At some point, you might cross that street to try to help somebody out or whatever. So my question would be, what would be okay as far as how bad of a street are you walking into? You know what I mean?
Well, and I think it just depends on what you're ready for in your life. Because if your side of the street's messy, there's no reason for you to invite someone else into your life, or else your street's going to be twice as bad. It happens. That's when you look through bad neighborhoods and stuff. It's not oh, this house is nice, this house is nice, and this house is crappy. It's all these people live together that don't take care of their shit, and so now it's all messy.
Mm-hmm.
And so if your side of the street's messy, you shouldn't even let someone in on your side of the street that's not going to better it, because you've already destroyed it. And on that same concept, if you are a clean person and you're keeping your side of the street clean, do you have time for the dirty side?
Right, so that is what my sponsor would say, you are inviting chaos into your home. As much as you, want to help someone get back on their feet, sometimes them coming into your life, or in my case, I was trying to help somebody get clean and whatnot.
Yep.
And I was like, if it's not safe at your house, maybe you could come stay at my place or whatever for a couple days.
Absolutely.
I brought that up to my sponsor, and he's like, are you prepared to deal with that? Because you're inviting chaos into your home then.
Yep.
Like,
It's so
you're
true.
you're going to turn your world upside down to try to help this person. So really, it's not going to benefit anyone, because what are you really going to do?
Right.
In a couple days, it's going to
And
end
how
up
are
in
you
bad.
going to react to it? Like, if you, especially like in reality, man. Like whenever you're within like your first 12 months,
Mhm.
you think you have it all.
Oh yeah.
You think that you've done it. You think you've overcome it. You think that your life's good.
Yeah,
You
dude,
think
you
there's
think
nothing
you're
but
good, dude.
positives
Yeah.
left. You know there's going to be negatives, but you
Mhm.
know that you're not going to be the cause of it anymore. So it gives you this sense of confidence and stuff.
Right.
And so I do feel like that's one of the number one things that happens to us, especially on the addictive side of the world,
Right.
is that we have all this confidence that I'm not going to be that guy again. But then why was I that guy before?
Yeah. Well,
You
it's,
know?
yeah, dude. Like you said with the year markers, it's really easy to start falling back into those old
Oh yeah,
kind of habits. That whole mindset of just like, oh, I got this.
it's
I'm not
super
waiting.
simple, dude.
Yeah, it happens so quick, So like, not only inviting chaos into your house, but if you don't keep up on your stuff, you are the chaos.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Well, and it's only someone else's fault for so long. Even if you're truly not doing something and your side of the street's clean, and the more trash that gets on your side of the street that you're letting to get on that side of the street, it doesn't matter if your neighbor's out there throwing it across the street. If you let him get away with it for 6 months, then he's gonna think that's okay. That's your fault.
right.
You know?
Bags of shit across the street.
Yeah. Like you're the one that put up with it. You're the one that succumbed to that type of behavior. You're the
Yeah.
one that's made it okay in your life.
Right.
So why
Yeah.
would anyone think any different?
So that, like, the question I ask is, like, how much is too much of, like, what you are willing to allow on your side of the street?
Well, I think it depends on where you're at in your walk, because there's people that have been clean or people that have been doing something right for 20 years.
Right.
But if you've only been doing it right for 6 months, you shouldn't let any of it in.
Right.
But if you've been doing it right for such and such time and you have your history back, you've won society back almost, right?
Right.
Then I think you can like go out there and take a step in and trying to help people and stuff. But
Right. But, like, you can't, I mean, there's some people who are pretty bad, dude.
Mhm.
Like, so that confidence thing that you were talking about, it's like I am not going to be able to help somebody who is, like, in the grips of, like, a heroin addiction, because I can't relate to that.
well, in reality too, when we think of that as well, there's so many people that want to be people's friends in that situation.
Mhm.
But in the middle of a heroin addiction, do they go to rehab right away or do they go to the hospital and detox right away?
Right.
They don't even go to the rehab right away to get the treatment that they need in the middle of that. So who are we to think that we can handle that when the licensed doctors aren't even handling it right off the gate?
Right.
There's a huge concept of this. People want to be people's friends, and in reality, it's what kills people. If you were comfortable whatsoever, would you still wake up and do the same thing if you didn't know any different? It doesn't matter what
Yeah.
your habit is, whether it's an addiction or whether it's smoking too many cigarettes,
Yeah.
drinking 10 cups of coffee a day. If you're comfortable doing it,
Mhm.
and it's even if it's bad for you, eating 1,000,000 calories a day or whatever, like
Right.
you're gonna continue to do it.
Well, it's like that thing I said. I think it was last week, but with the idea of a barn rat,
Yeah.
So a barn rat is like a horse that he'll run out and he'll turn right back around and go back to the barn. You'll saddle him up, you'll get on him, he'll run out one way, but he will turn around and go right back to the barn.
Yep.
Every time, and it's because that's what the horse is comfortable with. More, he'll stop doing that. So kind of like
Out of sight, out of mind. Once
yeah.
It's just like when you get out of jail, you don't call your parents, you call your best friend that you were probably hanging out with when you went to jail.
You don't call your parents.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you go do the same thing that you were just doing that landed you there.
Right, yeah, no, because it's
And you go do
the
the same
habit.
thing.
It's
Yeah.
the comfortability of like, I know this.
Oh, the first
I know
thing I
this.
did, first time I went to jail, the first thing I did was get out of jail and go to a friend's house and do drugs because it was going to calm me
First time I
down.
went to
Yeah.
jail, the first thing I did was
That's
get out of jail.
stupid.
Yeah, it is stupid.
I was in jail for drugs. Like,
that and 1,000 others.
Yeah, like that's the worst concept, but that's how we think of it though. And it's not just addiction either. It's every single person in their life has habits that they could change on a daily basis to positively change their life.
Right.
But we have this comfortable feeling in our lives, and we get into these lows or we get into these highs even that could be higher, but we don't let them get higher because we get complacent.
Right.
I think being content where you're at, but always being hungry is the part where people miss.
Yes. So, okay, so there is this saying that we have that is, don't let the thing, and remember, like, a lot of what I'm going to say, I circle back around to sobriety, just because, like, that's what I know.
Right.
Like,
No,
that's my experience with it.
I get
So,
that. I just want to make sure the listeners always know that we're talking about everything in life, because the whole thing about this is I want everyone to open up. In reality, Max, the reason why I like you opening up is because it's harder for people that have gone through the stuff that we've gone through to open up. So I'm hoping that how uncomfortable situations you can bring up means that other people are willing to lean off and learn from it, and then give us their situations and help us, and then we are all helping each other at that.
Shoot. Okay, so there is this saying that we have that is, don't let the things sobriety gives you be the things sobriety. But that is kind of, you can use that in any situation. Like, everybody has this idea of like, oh, if I get this job, if I get this, everything will be fine. And then they get it, and then it's the next thing, and the next thing. You're never going to be fulfilled.
Right.
You know? So when I say don't let the things blah, 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 take you from sobriety, all that's saying is like, okay, now I got a good job, now I got a steady income, maybe like I can go out on the weekend and have a few drinks. Right? You know what I mean? Like life is sweet, but the thing about it is, it's like life is sweet because you stop doing the bad stuff.
Right.
And then your first, and this is addict thinking 100%, but then your first thought is like, oh, well, now maybe I can regulate it. Like, no, dude, you look at your previous life.
And it's so funny because, yeah, it's addict thinking, but I have this weird concept in my head that everyone's an addict. That every single person on this planet, like, if you went a month without eating McDonald's and you lost 20 pounds and you hit your goal, then guess what? You go and you eat one thing at McDonald's and you start it all over again. That's an addiction. If you are trying to cut back on all the energy drinks you're drinking, which I have tried to do many times in my life and failed at as miserably, but it's if you're trying to do something and you do it and you're sick without a rain. I went 2 weeks without a coffee. You're addicted to that's whatever you're doing. I went 2 weeks without, and some of them are healthy. Like, I went 2 weeks without going to the gym. Like, it's cool you're addicted to going to the gym, but, like, let's be real. Like, if that's all you're worried about all day, every day, but you learn when you're going through it that there's healthy addiction, there's healthy personality traits for everything, and there's negative for it all. And you can't let it take you to that level. Like, because there's unhealthy people that take it to the level in the gym. There's unhealthy people that take it to that level with coffee. There's unhealthy people that take it to that level with food.
It's just like
laziness.
A drug. Yeah, it's just like a drug.
Yeah,
it's like
we all get addicted to everything.
You start going to the gym, you start seeing the changes in your body, you like it, so you keep going until it becomes like a compulsion.
Yep.
Now here you are like, well, now I need to get bigger. But that's what I'm saying is like, when is it ever enough? What your peak is always going to keep climbing. You get the thing, okay, well, now what's the next thing?
Absolutely. Well, and it's not necessarily that it's a bad addiction. You know what I mean?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's,
I know.
Yeah, it's compulsion.
Right. That people, if all you're doing is looking for that next level every single time, and you're looking for that next high, you're the same as that guy that can't sit there and smell the freaking roses.
Right.
Which means you're addicted to getting somewhere in life that might not be the healthiest for you.
Right.
There's things, healthy goals that you can get attained by and get sucked into, and I'm cool with that.
Right.
But I don't care for all this stuff whenever it comes to like people taking their own mental health not into account to get to a certain level in their life. And all of us do it. And all of us stress ourselves out over the stupidest stuff and try to take it to the worst areas possible. And there's no point. If we don't hit our goals today, we can hit our goals tomorrow. Doesn't mean that we're not sad we didn't hit them, but it doesn't mean I'm going to give up and just cry about it and be completely complacent and be completely content where I'm at either. Like, it just means that I'm still struggling and still thriving to get there, but I'm not going to let it ruin my mental space by trying to get there either, which is something I struggle with a lot.
Yeah, well, and just to touch on that.
Where I'm at either. Like, it just means that I am still.
Don't remember what I was gonna say.
I'm
buddy.
sorry.
No, it's all. No,
I
it's all, no, you're good, man. Go off. Tell them.
Well, and the habits is the next section too, and we've kind of already touched on it, but the bullet points for the next one are habits. Start with what you're doing daily,
Remember what I was gonna say.
I'm sorry.
but the
No, it's all right.
responsibility comes from you to start that habit.
Go off.
If you are waking up doing the same thing every day and you don't see a change in your day, it is because you are waking up doing the same thing every day. You want to see a change in your day, you have to wake up and do something different with your day.
Right, and going back to what you were saying about the mental health, I kind of circled back around in my head. I figured it out. So, like, I mean, there's people out there that really do suffer from like depression,
Absolutely.
and dude, and like I was in it, you know, where it was like I didn't want to get up, I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to die. Like, I just wanted to, like, I would just lay in my bed and just. You know, God, if you just take me now, man, you know, like, but like it's, but going off of what you were saying is like you gotta fucking do something about it, because I have listened to so many people just be like, yeah, well, you know, I just like can't do anything. You need to see a psychiatrist. You need to like let's get it figured out, you know.
And how many
like,
people do that and like just don't? Because it honestly almost is a bravery thing for some of that.
It is.
And I get how we all go through mental struggles and things of that nature, and depression is probably the number one thing that makes people give up on themselves. But we just, if we had a better observation of our friends, and it was more normal for guys to have man-to-man conversations. And I'm not saying you need to emotionally break down with your guys. I'm 100% all on board for raising my little boys to be men and everything in there. But at the same time, they shouldn't be afraid of actually confronting emotions and confronting feelings in a positive, manly way, or however you want to spin that. I don't care. But I just think that if you were more willing to actually have conversations with each other, stuff like depression and everything like that wouldn't be as big of an impact.
it's a stigma.
Yeah.
That's what it is it's like this idea of like weakness that anxiety and depression have. It's and instead of like facing it or talking to someone about it, people just they go recluse.
Yep.
You know, they just they
And
stop
that's what it
going
makes
out.
you want to
Like,
do too.
Well, it is. It
Yes.
is. But like, you know, like for me, it was one of those things where I felt like I was just talking about the same shit over and over again. Like, and you know, my friends would sit there and be like, "Yeah, dude, we've talked about this. We just talked about this the other day." I wasn't doing anything about it. I just wanted to bitch. Like, if I'm being honest, I just wanted people to like, in a way, feel bad for me.
Yeah.
Just like poor me.
Yep.
And like once I actually did something about it, got on the right medication, did what I had to freaking do, you know, like I'm not like just stoked to wake up every day.
No, but taking the right steps brought you somewhere.
Right, dude. Like
Yeah.
I don't hate life. Like I don't. Like I'm not just like, you know, skipping down the street like the sun's singing with me and shit, but like life's good.
Right. Well, and it's funny because that actually does bring me to the last point tonight for like the last episode is that, you know, we can't predict what our future is going to look into our future to make sure we have a positive future. We can't necessarily know what it's going to be. I don't know, and that's kind of what I feel like people deep dive in depression. That's what I did anyways. I don't know what people do. I'm here to speak from my own experiences and hopefully hear about y'all's. But like with my own experience with it, I deep dove into what I was worried about.
Yeah.
And my worries come from tomorrow. My regrets come from yesterday. And you just gotta worry about what's going on right now. Like
Yeah.
you can't sit here and worry about what's happening tomorrow. And it's I feel like when I was depressed, I was deep diving that the most. When I was depressed, I got my kids taken from me. I got everything. So it's just like you're sitting there like, I'm not even gonna see him for the next 6 months. I'm not even gonna this. I'm not even gonna that. I don't know where I'm gonna find my drugs. I'm so stressed right now. I need them. Like, is there so much that just goes through what you're going through in your head? But we let it ruin ourselves.
Yeah.
You can't sit here and let the thought of tomorrow ruin your today. You can't sit here and expect tomorrow to be bad when all you're doing is putting bad vibes out. Well, you know it's going to be bad. It's not even an expectation at that point. But if you're sitting here and thinking and knowing and having the expectation that tomorrow is going to be positive, and even if it's not, I guarantee you have a better outlook on it.
There was something I just watched on TikTok the other day that was something about expectations being premeditated resentments.
Yes.
Like, so when you expect something and someone does not live up, someone or something does not live up to that expectation, you're mad.
Absolutely. I got that on here. We create our own regrets.
Hell yeah.
We do.
Hell yeah. We do.
Every decision that you're upset about, everything that's happened to you in life, there is something you could have done to avoid it. And I'm sorry, but it's the harsh reality of life. Everything that I regret in my life, guess what? First 6 years of my oldest life, I was the biggest pile of crap. And I will regret that for the rest of my life. But who created it?
Yeah, well, and just like you were saying, the past is the past, dude. There ain't shit you can do about yesterday.
Yep.
You know, and we called it future tripping, but like when you sit there and you worry yourself fucking sick about, like, I deal with a lot of people who are like, you know, dealing with legal issues and whatnot, and it's just like, well, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, okay.
And why worry about it?
Yeah, like, I get it, like, that sucks.
Yes.
But, like, why are you tripping over something that is...
They're creating the worst case scenario in their
You
head.
have no control over what this outcome is going to be. Like, you can do what your lawyer tells you to do. You can do the steps to prove that, like, hey, that's not the person I am. But, like, at the end of the day, it's not your choice. Like, you can either do the things. Like, there was a girl I saw for a while that, you know, she had, like, something going on that was big. And she was just like, I just need to do X, Y, and Z. And then X, Y, and Z became like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later.
Yep.
I'll do it later. And then it's the
Absolutely.
day before you gotta go do the thing. And it's just like,
Yeah.
I didn't do it. It's like you had, like, a
6
month.
months.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
had months to do this, and you just didn't.
And you just decided that it wasn't right now, wasn't most important right now. And we do that with
Exactly.
everything too, man. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many things in my life that we make an excuse for right now that we put off for later, but then later doesn't come, or by the time later comes, it's too late. And it's it's like a sickness. You know?
It is, dude.
Like-
I'm convinced that there's just people out there that are they like being sad. Like,
Yeah.
but that comes back to the comfortability thing. Like, that's what they know. They know this, like, woe is me kind
Yeah.
of people feeling bad for them. And it's just like, I get it. I do get it.
Well, and I'll be honest, every time I've ever asked a friend why he's sad and done it appropriately in the right way, in a fashion that doesn't embarrass people that are going through a depression, in a fashion that people will, like, relate to okay, like, every time I've approached a situation and then someone's actually needed it, they've opened up about it. But anytime you don't approach a situation, then you're never going to know. We're never going to be able to help each other if you don't even ask your friends the question if they're okay.
Right.
We're never going to be able to help each other if your friends don't understand what you're going through in your life. Like, what if you lose friends because you're upset about something stupid going on in your life,
Right.
and they have no idea, but then you have all these things going on, and then it's just over for you on 2 counts.
Yeah.
And if you would have just told someone, every single person would have understood.
Well, and it's that anxiety, dude. It's sitting there just being like, well, they don't care. They don't fucking care anyway.
Absolutely.
How do you know? You didn't.
Right? You didn't give them a chance to care.
Yeah, exactly. You don't
I
even give them a
bet
chance.
90%
I
of
get
us-
it. I
Yeah.
get it. 100%. It's like it's a shameful thing. Like, as a person, it is a shameful thing to be dealing with problems. And that's fucked up.
Well, and it's one of those
It is.
things where we do not want our problems to be other people's problems, especially if you're an adult and you try to, like, handle your life and stuff. The last thing you want to do is make someone else's problems or make your problems someone else's
Right,
problems.
drag them down, but then you're not communicating.
Right.
Then it's like you're sitting there like, is this person pissed off at me? Like,
Yeah.
why are they not talking?
I wouldn't spend my time with you if I wasn't worried about your problems.
Right, dude. Like, I'm hitting you know? Yeah, dude. It's
Like, and I don't get me wrong, I might not completely fix your life, but I would at least like to be there for us mentally. And that's where the whole point of all this is for us to be there for each other mentally. Like, there's so many times in my life that I have just felt like there was no one around and there was no one near me, and then that nothing was good in my life and that everything was negative. But then looking back on it, I had like 10 dudes around me that probably would have been positive impacts, and I didn't take advantage of my situation in the right way. I did the wrong thing, and I created that entire environment myself.
right.
You know? Like, people need to understand that our environments are where we plan ourselves. And if I put myself in a bad situation, I created my own regret for what's happening in that situation.
Right.
And I might not look back at my regrets anymore right now, but it took me a long time to get there.
Dude, yeah, I mean, they eat at you. Like, do I feel like shit about stuff in my past? Yeah, absolutely. But it's like, it's the living amends in AA. It's just like, you know what? I kind of sucked. like I'm gonna do better. I am not going to let that person be who I am anymore, and I'm not going to let that situation define the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
You know, you just keep pushing.
And you do it with everything. And that's one thing I love about the fact that I got the education kind of through the process of me getting clean for addiction, because I feel like it comes into every single side of life. Like, if you want to fix something in your life, if you want to be better looking, you go to the gym, you get a haircut, you do all this stuff that creates that persona around you. If you want to be smarter, you pick up a book, you go to YouTube, you do certain things that make you get there. If you want to learn about something, and all those are habits that we treat ourselves and that we have to generate every day if we want those habits to stick at all.
Right.
And if we don't do that, then nothing in our life is going to change. Whether I want to lose weight, whether I want a positive mentality, whether I want to be smarter, whether I want a degree, it doesn't matter. Every aspect of your life. You want a nicer car, start doing the right steps to get you a nicer car. You want to buy a house, start looking into what you need to do to buy a house. If you want to do this, you want to do that. And so many people, I do feel get in this aspect of life is just too crazy and it's coming down on me hard. Okay, focus on one thing. Focus on the car. Focus on the house. Focus on a cell phone. Focus on a job.
It's also this instant gratification stuff that we have nowadays. Everybody just wants stuff right now, and
I'm the worst about it.
Dude, yeah, fucking same. Yeah. But if you're not going to take the steps to have it happen, it's going to continue to just be one day.
Well, and I get so frustrated with the fact that I am 33 and there's certain things that 25-year-olds are doing that I can't do, but it's because I ruined myself when I was their age and they didn't do the same thing I did. That's their ceiling. That's where they're landing at that moment.
Right.
And I can't let it bother me because I'm also miles away from other people and other teams that people did this. You know?
And one thing that I say to myself all the time is you're exactly where you need to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what other people are doing, dude. In AA, you get people who are just this person, it has 3 months and this and this and this is going good for them. I'm at 3 months and I'm fucking depressed.
Right.
I don't know what to do. It's no, they are on a different journey than you.
100%.
They are walking a different path. You are where you need to be, and they're where they need to be.
Yep.
You cannot compare yourself to other people, dude. Otherwise, you will constantly be disappointed. Just like Facebook and Instagram, all these people sharing the greatest parts of their life, and that's it. The one picture for every 1,000 hurtful words or something. You know what I mean? It's people just want everything now, and.
People are only worried about themselves with it. People are only worried about what's right in front of them, out of sight, out of mind. And I think people need to remember people, man. And people just need to build up their days in the right way. And people need to create their days with the habits that they want their life to look like. Because my habits match what I kind of want my life to look like. I could do better at them to make my life better, but we all can.
Yep.
But I'm building them based on what I want my outlook to be. And that's all I want for everyone, is to build their habits based on how they view their life, because that means hopefully you're going to be happy in the end of it.
Right.
But if we don't do that, then we're never going to make it there, and then we're just going to be the society of people just bitching and griping about the stuff that we don't have and the stuff that others do have.
Right.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you mean you want things and you don't want to work for them?
Yeah.
And you don't have them? Shit. That sucks for you.
And when you're in a right spot mentally, which we could help each other do, you're more willing to get to the right spot everywhere else.
Just a hand up, not a hand out.
Right. And that's all we can be for each other. Well, this is the longest episode we've had yet.
We could go so much longer.
We could.
We could go so
People
much
would hate
longer.
to listen to us for any longer, though.
I don't know.
We're doing pretty good.
We'll have to do some Joe Rogan stuff, and Jamie pull the video up.
Good screen right here.
Yeah. Why not? Timu has projectors.
Well, I do think we covered everything that we needed to on the podcast tonight. Again, I'm Tori.
And I'm Max.
Thanks for coming in to Regenerating Degenerations. I hope to see you next Monday at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, why not? Timu has projectors.
Well, I do think we covered everything that we needed to on the podcast tonight. Again, I'm Tori.
And I'm Max.
Thanks for coming in to Regenerating Degenerations. I hope to see you next Monday at 7 o'clock.